Okay, so we got another good film coming up. It's one with Tommy Lee Jones in it. It came out in 1999 because, other than that, Tommy Lee Jones would be walking around with a cane because he is an old man now, probably older than me. But it turned out to be a pretty good movie. It's called Double Jeopardy, and this was a wealthy, wealthy woman with her husband living on in Washington, and she was after with their 4-year-old son. The she was looking at boats and he was collecting art. They spent 2 million. Uh, well, he had $2 million life insurance, so he bought her a boat, a sailboat to take out on the ocean. So she's driving and sailing the boat because that's what she likes to do. And her husband was just along for the ride. So somewhere in the middle of the night, this is towards the beginning of the movie, they made it look like in the movie that he died and she killed him. And when the Coast Guard got there, the radio was cut. The radio cord was cut for the microphone, cut in two, and then so she couldn't use the radio to call. Coast Guard got there, and it looked like she had cut him up and put him in little pieces and fed him to the ocean in the South Pacific, so the fish ate him. Well, she gets convicted of this, and her son gets put with her friend because of the $2 million life insurance. He set it all up, and it turns out that throughout her investigation while she was in prison for the 3 or 6 years, whatever they said she had to do, 10 years, 8 years, Angela, her buddy that had the kid, had moved around a couple times. And later on in the movie, they showed her husband, Nick, still alive. It turned out to be a pretty good movie. And she did her time, 6 years in prison. There it is, 6 years in prison. I wrote it down, just way too far down. And then, so she did her 6 years in prison. She was put in a halfway house by a police officer, Travis Lithman, which was Tommy Lee Jones, and she was out trying to find a professor whose wife and daughter left him due to alcoholism. So he was hit a bad way too when he was running over, and they showed him putting one woman violating her parole because she was out on Hollywood Boulevard working that thing, wearing lace and out there, doing what she got arrested for. So our lady in question was there. She got late a couple times because she was over on the island trying to find out where her son was. And then she did find she was out late. She got arrested this time for running away from the police because she was breaking into the records department to find out where her son was at the time. Then Tommy Lee Jones was taking her back across the ferry, or whatever his name was in this movie. And he went upstairs because he got pissed off, and because she was asking a question about a photograph on the visor of his Ford Galaxy used car. He called it a used car, so he handcuffed her to the handle of the car, and he left the keys in the car, and she tried to break loose by driving the car forward and backwards and trying to knock the door handle off so the handcuff would release from the door. Then she accidentally pushed the car off, and then Tommy Lee Jones was alerted, and he got into the car, and then she drove both of them off the end. And she found Angela through her social security number, and she had changed her name, and then she got to the house in Colorado and found out she had been killed, burned to death. And the kid survived, so she tracked her ex-husband, the one that was supposedly dead, to New Orleans under a different name. security number, so she went over there to take care of it, and she found out that double jeopardy means that once you've done the crime, they can't charge you for the crime again, so she could go kill the man because she'd already done the crime for it. They couldn't charge her for it again. And so Tommy Lee Jones found her there, and they chased her around all over the town, and a bunch of red umbrellas when it's raining. And it turned out to be a pretty good movie. All she was after her was her son, Matty, which he was in a private boarding school. And her ex-husband got another kid to lead her into one of the cemeteries. I think it was something too. Anyway, I can't remember what cemetery it was, but it's a tourist trap anyway. And then she woke up in a coffin and used Tommy Lee's gun, the .38 Special, or .357 Magnum, and blew the hinges off with the gun. Just found the hinges, put the gun up, pulled the trigger, and the hinges popped off so she could get out of the coffin. And then it turned out she got caught, and then she ended up back to her husband's Nick's after going through all the rigmarole and the blind dates and the buying of the bachelor thing, and it turned out to be a pretty good movie. They ended up getting the guy arrested because she tracked him down by his old painting history. He was selling off paintings that he had bought when they were together, and he kept doing that, so he kept his old habits up. So it turned out to be a pretty good movie, and I actually like this one, Double Jeopardy. Yeah, I saw this one originally in theaters when it came out. Yeah, I'm stating myself again. I shouldn't be doing that. But anyway, this one was Paramount Pictures distributed it. It came out September 24th, 1999. Wow. I didn't realize it was that old, but it seems like it just came out yesterday. It runs 105 minutes. It was United States in English. The budget for it was $40 million. They made $177.8 million at the box office, which in the end was a lot of money. Nowadays they're spending more. Much, much more, but they're doing a lot more special effects to it too. But that was a pretty good story to watch. The book was even better, but how it goes. And then we got I got more movies to talk about, so I'll get them all out as soon as possible. Hopefully you're enjoying them. Take care, and thanks for subscribing. Bye now.